Tyson Fury is trapped, must fight Deontay Wilder. Wilder wins the arbitration, and old media is still begging for Wilder to show mercy. And I'm gonna explain why Wilder should not show any mercy and allow any other fight to happen or take step aside money in this video. 100% proof. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Now, before I get started, make sure you click the link and get TUBEBUDDY. I'll give you guys more on that later. Actually, I'm going to jump right into it. Now, I've been on this platform for a long time, and I've seen a lot of moronic things. By far, Tyson Fury and a lot of the fans that he's brought in, the talking points, the arguments that they are attempting to make in this arbitration conclusion announcement that did favor Wilder is beyond ridiculous. Now, the dangerous thing about a channel like mine, new media, digital mob, Ego's Army, is this is what I do full time. This is my full-time job. And I distinctly remember my body of work. This is my baby. This is my art. This is my craft. So I put time into these videos. I don't just hit record and start bumping my gums. So it's like a piece of every one of these stories, every video I do, it just sticks with you. And the dangerous thing about that is, I tell you guys all the time, the most dangerous thing is a camera and a microphone. And you leave these quote unquote breadcrumbs, the proverbial breadcrumbs, when you document and cover a sport like boxing or any sport on a platform like YouTube. Now, I've seen and heard the argument stating that Deontay Wilder should show some kind of mercy or clemency to allow for Joshua Fury, which is on all levels idiotic. It makes no sense for that to take place. Wilder wants something that's priceless, which is revenge, retaliation. As a competitor, as a former champion, he wants to prove stuff to himself, I'm sure, and prove to the world that he can best Tyson Fury. So just based on what he's after being priceless, you know, that's in its own right. But there are other reasons why I think it's very ridiculous for old media to even suggest this. Luckily, Wilder, being the person he is, as you guys see, this is his new trainer, Malik Scott. He says, nah, Deontay Wilder, he declined and had no interest in step aside money. Y'all dealing with a whole different type of motherfucker over here. He want the blood, not the step aside money. Hashtag, or he says, quote, retribution is upon us. And this was in response to Aram saying that, you know, he's not going to pay Wilder step aside money. Malik Scott is just confirming that's not what Wilder is after. You know, I really would doubt that the arbitration would last and would have lasted this long if Wilder just wanted step aside money, because that could have been disclosed a lot earlier when the arbitration first started, and it wouldn't have just ended last Monday. Yet and still, old media tried it. I will make sure this is one of their worst years, their career years in the sport of boxing, because it's just too much foolishness. Now that Deontay Wilder won the arbitration, they're acting shocked. They're acting like Wilder messed up plans because they decided to, during litigation and a mediation arbitration process, they were so pompous and so arrogant that they attempted to schedule another fight, unbeknownst to them, the conclusion from a mediation judge. You know, who knows? What if part of them doing all this and then making all these headlines pushed the judge in the direction of a ruling in favor of Wilder? You know, either way, that's neither here nor there. But let's talk about the step aside money. So Bob Arum already says, quote, we're not paying Wilder to step aside. It's better to get rid of him and go about our business, which is precisely why the Joshua Fury talk should have never existed. Yet and still, old media, because they pushed this narrative that Joshua and Fury was happening, now they look crazy and they look desperate, and they know they have to wait for Wilder to get a crack at his former WBC belt. So they're drowning right now, wondering what to do and wondering what they can say. So you see a lot of people in old media suggesting the ideal situation is for Wilder to step aside. And I'm going to explain how stupid this looks. And again, when you attempt to play these games and you want to listen to a person like Tyson Fury, as I've stated, this is a former drug addict or a current drug addict, if he's still doing it, whatever. And he's going to make, based on his erratic behavior, Tyson Fury is going to make you look foolish and make a fool of you soon enough. And that's what we're here to discuss right now. Smash the like button. I distinctly remember making a video. You guys see it. Tyson Fury denies Deontay Wilder step aside money. Once again, Tyson Fury will make you look foolish. Now, you see right there, it says TUBEBUDDY. Before I get started into this video, real quick, make sure you guys click the link in the description to set up TUBEBUDDY. As I've told you, I've used TUBEBUDDY for years. I start off with 0 subscribers. Now we're over 200,000 subscribers and counting. I've used TUBEBUDDY for several years. I know how to use it. A lot of features packed into it. It's a great way to optimize your videos and your content so you get discovered. Increase your discoverability so people see your videos and you have a better chance of ranking in search, which ultimately will help you if you monetize videos by making more money, like your boy Ego. So consider TUBEBUDDY by clicking the link in the description. Now back to the video. So I distinctly remember making this thumbnail and making this video. Again, Tyson Fury denies Wilder step aside money. This is from 4:24 p.m. May 14th, 2020. So virtually, it's like a year and 5 days ago, right? Like I said, Tyson Fury will make you look dumb soon enough because of what he says, then he changes it, and he has this bipolar type of patterns in behavior. So old media is clamoring for Wilder to step aside. But just last year, almost a year to the day, a year and 5 months, boom, link in the description. Now we got action. Daily Mail. Tyson Fury refuses to pay off Deontay Wilder to step aside from the trilogy fight, insisting I'd rather take his scalp again as Joshua is put on the back burner despite plans to face him twice. So he's saying he had plans to face Joshua twice, but first he has to take care of Deontay Wilder. Like I told you, Deontay Wilder should have and was always the plan for Team Fury and Team Wilder. Wilder never once said he didn't want to fight, and we knew we were in a global pandemic. So the whole arbitration was merely a ploy to try to somehow get out of it and waste money for Tyson Fury, only to lose and to waste everybody's time trying to run and do something else. As I mentioned, when you try to just repeat what Tyson Fury is saying and defend him, he's going to make you look dumb sooner than later. Tyson Fury refuses to pay Deontay Wilder step aside. So this was a whole video. Here's the video. It says Fury on Wilder rematch. I'm not paying him no step aside money, right? So almost a year to the date, Tyson Fury told you that he's not paying Wilder, right? He said on Instagram Live, we got the rematch with Wilder on at some point as well. See? Let me see if that's a little too close. This is what Tyson Fury said last year, a year ago. We got the rematch with Wilder at some point as well, and we've got the 2 AJ fights. Well, one. Then obviously, when I batter him, AJ will want a rematch. Recent reports suggested that Wilder would accept a sum of £10 to step aside for a trilogy bout. Wright then asked Fury who he faced out of Wilder or Joshua something. He replied, well, Wilder's got a rematch clause, so some newspaper reported that he wanted $10 million to step aside. Tyson Fury says, I'm not paying him being Wilder. I'm not paying Wilder no money to step aside. Look at this. I'm not paying Wilder no money to step aside. I'd rather take his scalp again. I'll beat him in the ring, and that's how I'll get him out of the way. I wouldn't pay him £2 to step aside. Fury has played you all. I'd rather give him another battering again. I'm going to take him out for a third time, hopefully end of the year, and then we're going to go into 2021 for the biggest fight in boxing history between two undefeated British heavyweights, me and AJ. We're going for all the gold, end quote. So Tyson Fury told you last year he wouldn't pay Wilder $2.5 million, £2 million. He says he would not pay that to Wilder to have him step aside. He'd rather beat him up and all this stuff like that. And then now all of a sudden, when Wilder wins the arbitration, old media is telling him to step aside. Oh man, this is bad. This is real bad for Tyson Fury. So again, this is what happens when you listen to somebody who has an admitted drug past. You look foolish. Now old media is telling Wilder he should step aside, but Fury just told you last year that he would never pay Wilder step aside money, and he wants to batter him, and he knows he has a rematch clause and he has to fight him. So what changed? What changed in Fury's mind to the point where he finally said, I'm not fighting him, I need to pull out, and now I need to sue him? This is a huge discrepancy with what Tyson Fury is saying. He's trying to paint Deontay Wilder out like Deontay Wilder was ducking him. That's clearly not the case, because he knew he had an obligation to complete a second fight with Wilder. So you should have never scheduled another fight knowing you had business to complete. But this is what his team decided to do. They lied to people's faces, and that's the end of it. So at the end of the day, I want to make this follow-up video. Tyson Fury let you know he never wanted to pay Wilder step aside money. But now, after Wilder wins an arbitration and battles in court and gets the arbitration decision in his favor, now old media is telling him that he should just surrender that to allow two other guys to fight instead of getting his retaliation. Checkmate. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster. We work it.